results. In Milwaukee, go to lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com.
I'm just texting him back.
I'm just posting a story.
I'm just changing the song.
No. When it comes to distracted driving, just don't. Sending a text takes your eyes off the road for just 5 seconds, but in that time, your car can travel the length of an entire football field. Any distracted driving just isn't worth it.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Homer here. You're listening to 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
For your sports talk fix every day from 4 to 6, it's Scalzo and Brust. For your sports talk fix every day from 4 to 6, it's Scalzo and Brust. For your sports talk fix every day from 4 to 6, it's Scalzo and Brust. For your sports talk fix every day from 4 to 6, it's Scalzo and Brust.
Live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue.
It's a party, baby.
This is Scalzo and Brust. Woo! Presented by Michelob Ultra.
It's a party, baby.
On 94.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
It's a party, baby. Woo! It's a party, baby.
Presented by Michelob Ultra. Ben Brust here alongside Alex Strofe from the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison Studios. Josh DiMaggio running the show. I think Ryan Wollersheim, the woolly mammoth, helping us out in Madison. 800,
I like that.
800-990-3776. I didn't think that was that creative.
I have never heard him called that.
Yeah,
so
I
appreciate
know.
that. It wasn't.
Yeah, Josh, I know
it wasn't. But
I guess neither was.
Never heard that.
Neither was the what was it? The Wollersheim, the wine thing.
The sommelier.
Yeah,
the sommelier, Ben. Yeah, the greatest nickname that's ever been granted at ESPN Madison.
Yeah, pass.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Josh DiMaggio, pod down Wollersheim. I don't want to hear from him the whole show. Sound good?
Josh, can you just hit the cool hotkey for me?
Cool.
Thank you.
Why are you listening to that guy?
No, it sounded like fun.
I'm in charge today. No Greg Scalzo. Alex Strofe here. Back after a long weekend. Thanks you to Strophe for holding it down, I believe. No idea how the show's went. I'm not gonna lie. I was out of sight, out of mind over the weekend, but I had a phenomenal time, and I'm happy to be back with the Scalzo and Brust family because I bring one of the questions that came about over the weekend, and I did not foresee this happening at 11 o'clock at night on Friday in a hot tub, but the most fascinating question was asked, and I was trying to debunk it, and I need the Scalzo and Brust family's help. 800-990-3776. Again, 800-990-3776. Is there any food that is better without sauce? I know that sounds crazy. You're like, oh, that's not that complicated. But I started rattling off 50 different things in the hot tub, 3 sheets to the wind, and everything got debunked. Obviously, a steak. You put butter on it, right? Chicken, barbecue, you put sauce. Food is a carrier to sauce. Strofe, you got anything? Hit me.
All right, so steak was my first thought, but butter was good.
Because you put a steak on the grill.
You're gonna throw some butter on it.
Yeah, you're like, or garlic. You're gonna put something to enhance. No one just puts a piece of chicken on the grill and says, you know what? That sounds yummy. Just a nice piece of chicken.
I actually had a roommate in college that did that, Benny, and we all made fun of him all the time.
Exactly.
Very strange.
I'm talking about to the people who are normal food consumers.
So chips would have like salt and like I think Doritos, right? But they're like layered in seasoning. So
they're layered in nacho
sauce
cheese.
In this.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's a fair point.
And then think about like pretzels are going to be dip. You got Tostitos and salsa.
No. See, that's the one that comes to mind is pretzels because I don't dip pretzels in anything.
Mustard.
I think
cheese.
we need a quick addendum here. You're using sauce as a catch-all for what is sauce and seasoning.
That's fair. But
just so people understand, because I'm sure people are going to be like, well, potato, you would rather, sauce we're using with seasoning here as well.
Correct.
Okay.
I think that's good. The only thing that has been probably the thing I've had success with on this, Josh, because I think it's fascinating. Like pineapple or like a fruit, but I think apple, you can have like a caramel apple or apple pie. Like, like there's stuff you can do with an apple that's better than just an apple.
Yeah, I think fruits and vegetables are really the only thing you can go, but I bet a lot of people would say vegetables are better with a ranch or with a salt, depending on whatever it is.
Exactly. Like I was like grilled veggies. I was like, Then someone was like balsamic glaze. I was, you know what? I would love that.
Good call. Yeah.
And again, there's a lot of things that are going to be, nitpicked by the Scalzo and Brust family. I totally see you. I need you to think beyond like butter isn't a sauce, dip isn't a sauce. Like, I guess it's not, but like it's an enhancer. You know what I mean? Like it enhances the piece of chicken. Even
hold on.
Go ahead.
I want to make sure we're on the same page here. So you were asking for like a base food that does not have anything added to it that is good, right? That's what we're going with.
Yeah,
at its best without anything else.
Yeah, for sure. And if somebody wants to say like they're saying candy, like a chocolate bar, I mean, like it's all like that's all obviously like not. It's not a piece of meat. Like it's just obviously really really good chocolate with caramel. Like I'm talking about foods you eat every day. Obviously, candy's good for a reason. That's why you can't eat it for every meal.
So, like summer sausage comes to mind. I love summer sausage, but I eat that with crackers and cheese, but I eat it alone as well. Is that a fair one?
Yeah, I guess, but like those are enhancing it. You know what I mean? The cheese and the crackers are enhancing the summer sauce.
I can go without. I can go without.
That's a good one.
I think that's the only one I've got.
That is a good one. Like, because I'm with you, but like, do you like the cheese and the crackers better than just the summer sausage by itself? And that's where I'll challenge you, because I would say I like the crackers with the cheese and the sausage, and it's better.
I think you might be right about that. If I had a choice, I think I'm going cheese and crackers with the summer sausage. That's tough. But neither of those are sauces, so you've lost me officially. My brain is in a blender here, Benny. We're 7 minutes into the show. You've already got my brain going backwards.
So was mine the entire 11 o'clock p.m. hour on Friday as they brought this topic to me.
This has stuck with you for 3 days? 3 days. This has been stuck in your brain?
Yes, like because I've continued. I texted my buddy all week. I was like, I got one, and then I was like, grilled veggies. I don't want sauce in my grilled veggies. He just said balsamic glaze, and I was like, you know what? I would really like those grilled veggies with balsamic glaze.
I'm actually stuck on the visual of this for a moment. So I just imagine you chilling.
This
in
is
the hot
after
tub
27 holes of golf, mind you.
I was just about to say, like, I feel you full spread, relaxing. You have like a 6-pack of Mick Ultra next to the hot tub, easily accessible, and you're just down in Mick Ultras, rifling off items that you think fit into this category. So, has your boy and his girlfriend, you said, or his wife, they brought this to you?
Yeah, she brought this to the conversation, and I thought, like, again, she was the pineapple thing and the fruit thing really threw them for a loop, and so I was okay getting rid of that. But again, so Logan and Milwaukee chimes in 800-990-3776 if you want to join the conversation, because food is a carrier for sauce. I am sticking to it. Cereal doesn't need sauce. Sure, but again,
milk, though.
That's what I keep getting to. It's an enhancer. Like nobody wants to just eat cereal by itself. And I actually brought this one. This is one that I brought, because Lucky Charms. I was like, you know what? I'll eat those marshmallows without anything. Right? You just pick those out of the bag of Lucky Charms, and you're like, there ain't nothing better than that nice marshmallow. So that was one I remember now from 3 days ago.
It was a good weekend then. See cereal. I think it's almost cereal, different type of cereal to eat it alone. I think that's odd, right? Like I would never just like raw hand in the bag, eat some cereal. I've never done that. I think that's a little bit odd. Lucky Charms might be the one I'd give you a pass on, but I'm not throwing my hand in a bag of Honey Nut Cheerios and be like, tasty. That's awesome. That really satisfied the taste buds.
800-990-3776. A good charred ribs I would eat without anything on it. That sure you would eat
seasoning that?
But wouldn't it be better with seasoning or sauce? Like, that's what I continue to go back to.
The whole point of ribs is they're barbecued.
Exactly.
Nobody's raw dog.
I threw out dry rubbed wings.
Yeah, but doesn't that then fall into the
seasoning?
Sauce?
That's a dry rub.
Yeah, it's the sauce.
And you're dipping that in ranch probably too.
Yeah, Bill.
You're dipping what?
Yeah, what did you say, Joe?
You're dipping wings in ranch, no?
Yes,
cheese?
I thought you were saying ribs.
What are you laughing at? No.
Ribs and ranch with barbecue. I was like, the barbecue.
Honestly,
it
wouldn't be it probably wouldn't be half bad. Barbecue ribs with ranch.
So, and this is where there's obviously going to be qualifiers. I think fruits and vegetables we kind of threw out and candy. Foods that you would eat on an everyday basis for lunch, for dinner, for breakfast, right? Because Bill and Tosa says
or snacks.
An orange is best as just an orange. And I agree. I think in this conversation, like a grape is, I guess wine.
Yeah.
Well, and you could, there's a lot of fluffs like whipped cream or Cool Whip based dips that you could also use.
That was my debunk when I said, hey, I think pineapple is amazing by itself. But if somebody made me a really nice, dipping sauce for fruit, it's white and creamy. You can say that's what she said if you want.
That's what she said.
I would like to dip something in there and give it a try because it might enhance it. 800-990-3776. 262 chimes in. Marinades and seasoning should not count as anything added before cooking and should not be considered a sauce. Again, you're trying to beat the game because you know the game's beating you there. 262. Try and actually win by the question, not by your own rules. I sat up for
That was good.
I sat up
That
for
was good.
15 hours trying to think of things. Now, again, because I think this is fun debunking people because I'm kind of convinced now that this is true. Help me with this one because this is the first I've seen 3 of these on the text line, and I don't know how to beat it. Bacon.
Bacon is cured.
I season the hell out of it, and it is cured. But does that count? Right? Does cured bacon
it's similar
count
to
towards this argument?
What you would fit under a marinade, is it not? Because the way it's prepared, it's preserved in a way. But bacon is the closest
chicken
we
is
could
packaged.
Get. Yeah, but
bacon is probably
a chicken
the best
breast.
one.
It doesn't have anything extra done to it, where bacon does.
Thank you, Josh. That's why you're here.
Oh man!
And oftentimes,
thank God, Josh. Is
also
here.
Hickory smoked bacon, maple bacon. Those are all ways to enhance bacon, other than the way it is.
And that's the thing is, do you like to me a piece of bacon? I love a piece of bacon, but if I'm at breakfast and I can put a little maple syrup on some bacon, I'm gonna take the fork and mix it up in that syrup, and it's better. So again, although bacon is great, bacon can be enhanced and be better. Debunked.
I have a stupid question. What is bacon if it's not cured? Joshy?
I believe it would just be a pork belly then. I think that would be what it would be considered.
So you're saying, I'm going to take the bacon side here. So you're saying it is not bacon unless it's cured.
Well, the problem here is we have this really broad definition of sauce that includes seasoning and brining.
I'm not going to lie. I started the conversation thinking the sauce is going to be a little bit more narrowed.
Yeah.
But the sauce continues to expand.
Yes.
So you can continue to debunk all the foods.
So there is different ways to prepare what is commonly considered the bacon. But even if we take away the curing process that goes into making bacon, you can, apple hickory smoked bacon is a thing that happens and is kind of the more popular version, I would imagine.
I just looked it up.
Dumb.
Gross revenue of bacon, the maple bacon is higher in gross revenue.
It sounded very convincing. Everyone bought it.
Yep.
I just love how this is a brilliant view. This is a brilliant view into the brain of Ben Brust and what he gets excited about and what stumps him and what he spends hours and hours upon hours in a hot tub discussing on a Friday drunken night.
Or
this is what gets
it's a good view
this
into
is what gets Ben Brust a tick.
The people that I hang around are very similar to me.
I just saw an
That's
interesting
a good
one
point.
because I put this out on Twitter. This comes from a teammate of ours, Tiff Pua. She says, soup. Where does soup fit into this whole discussion? Because is soup just a sauce by this definition?
what is the broth?
I don't know.
This is your game. No, we're the debunk team. We have to debunk everybody because I want this to be real.
So wait, broth is a sauce?
Yep. Add broth to the list.
Why don't you text your buddy and ask about soup?
You know what?
Say about soup.
Let's see. He's the king debunker. So while I text the king debunker, ruling. I have a weird suspicion that Mark Murphy eats chicken plain. Like, doesn't he just seems like a guy that eats chicken plain.
You're right. Yeah. You're absolutely right.
Guy's kind of out there, and I love him for it because you put a microphone in front of him, he's gonna say whatever he wants. If the Packers have had a plan with the PR communications team for 12 weeks, he'll blow it up by week 6. Mark Murphy made some comments at the Packers shareholder meeting. We'll hit that next and keep debunking your food takes because food is a carrier for sauce. Next on Scalzo and Brust, presented by Mick Ultra.
You're listening to Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra.
You don't get to the NFC Championship 2 years in a row by accident. And you know what happens when Jordan Love's the starting quarterback? That front office and Matt LaFleur, they're going to have a tight sphincter, and they're not going to look the same.
Scalzo and Brust, available anywhere you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Those delays on 94 westbound caused in part by a crash at the ramp from 35th Street. They have cleared it off onto the right shoulder at this point. We're still seeing a couple minutes of delay on 94 westbound through the stadium interchange, but it is improving. Other than that, it's been the same slowdowns we've been keeping an eye on all afternoon. 41 southbound, still a couple minutes slow from Highway Q to the Zoo. It's been a 3-minute delay for the last hour. It is still a 3-minute delay, a 17-minute ride. And 43 southbound, currently a 23-minute ride. That's a 12-minute delay. That's roughly what we've been looking at all afternoon. Taking a look at your forecast for tonight, we'll have partly cloudy skies with a slight chance of showers and a low of 71. Tuesday, partly cloudy, very warm. It'll be more humid with a slight chance of showers and a high up to 88. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Wyatt Barmore-Pooley on 94.5 ESPN.
Oh, you forgot to clean out your backpack since school ended? Oh, rotten.
Let's make our windows.
Well, you make a great point. Tell you what, let's clean out your backpack and then we'll...
Well, we can't do anything about rotten lunches. Pella's lifetime warranty on wood windows and doors makes it so that you'll never have to worry about rotting windows again. Right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, make payments as low as $35 per month per window and $78 per patio door. Visit PellaWI.com.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Greg Scalzo for Smart Spaces. How can Smart Spaces transform your business?
Really looking at the entire space holistically. The environment, the walls, ceilings, lighting, flooring, furniture, technology, along with acoustics.
To conceptualize how the end users are going to interact with the room, from the furniture all the way down to the AV, having that work seamlessly within the environment and often hiding within the furniture.
Let Smart Spaces transform your business today. Visit smartspaceswi.com.
Even when you think you know what's going on.
I think first date, you want to see how she handles the corn dog. Am I right? Craig, are you with me or what?
You can never be too sure.
I don't think there should be separate rules for females and males.
Packers, nonsense, chaos.
I want to see how Chewy handles that corn dog.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, morning 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
You love her twice as much today as the day you married her, right?
Welcome to Kessler's.
What can you do in about an hour? You could take a nap, do some cleaning, have lunch with a friend, watch your favorite show, take a yoga class, go to the gym, or buy a car. At Ewald Automotive, you'll be in and out in about an hour. Go to ewaldauto.com, select the vehicle you're interested in, and get your instant price. Get a firm trade-in offer, customize your payment option, and even add your own protection plans. Then head to the dealership, and you'll be in and out in about an hour.
Go to ewaldauto.com.
Come celebrate Milwaukee's original house party along our beautiful lakefront. Germanfest, July 28th, 29th, and 30th, featuring authentic German food, beer, and back this year, Steel Timber Sports in an international extreme sports competition with axes, saws, and more, all 3 days. Don't miss the Glockenspiel, Dachshund Derby, Culture Village, Mardi Gras Show, Drachenschau, and the Schürzenjäger Friday and Saturday night, and so much more. For more on Germanfest tickets and admission discounts, visit germanfest.com.
I asked what kind of family she wanted. She said, a family like yours.
Learn more about adopting a teen at adoptuskids.org. You can't imagine the reward. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Scalzo and Brust on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Michelob Ultra. It's only worth it if you enjoy it.
Michelob Ultra. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Ben Brust here. No Greg Scalzo. Alex Strofe holding it down at the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison Studios. Josh DiMaggio running the show. I do want to cue Ryan Wollersheim back up because I would like his feedback on the food being a carrier for sauce.
I'm here.
Didn't you say you didn't want to hear from him anymore?
Yeah, I changed my mind because as
10 minutes ago.
As the conversation evolved, I want as many opinions as possible here because I'm convinced that food is just a carrier for sauce. Sauces make all foods better outside of the fruits, vegetables, and candies.
And seasonings, apparently, as well.
Well, see, again, that's an additive, though. You know what I mean? It adds to the flavor. You can't you're not just going to eat chicken by itself. You're going to want to marinate it. You're going to want to put a sauce on it.
Your argument began as food is a carrier for sauce, which is just fundamentally incorrect on the conversation we're having.
So I would say that there's one piece of pizza that I like that I think is better with a sauce in ranch. And if you're having buffalo chicken pizza, it's undeniably better if you add ranch to it.
Yeah, but buffalo chicken pizza has buffalo sauce. Like,
wait, but pizza has...
What are we doing here?
Yeah,
has,
that's
what do you call it, sauce?
Exactly. Pizza's not an answer.
Red sauce?
I should have never brought him in here.
Is he misunderstanding?
It already has sauce.
He's telling us what's better with sauce.
I know.
For
things without sauce. And he literally gave me the pizza that is a specialty made pizza. I
told him to read that off, and then I realized, I talked to him down the line here, and then I realized he was playing the game wrong.
Yeah, I definitely read that poll question wrong. I'm realizing this now.
I saw his response. He's like, because someone said pizza. He's like, I don't know about that because I really like my pizza with ranch. That's like
certain pizza.
All right, Wooly. Happy Monday. Do you continue to work on your brain? Which you know what? I gotta give Kyle and Wapan a shout out. Ben calling out Mark Murphy for spewing at the mouth is one of the funniest things I have heard today. I do word vomit, so I appreciate a good word vomiter. And that was Mark Murphy at the shareholder meeting today. Strofe, by the end of the show, I need you to create a list of quotes that Mark Murphy's given in the last 2 to 3 years, and we can rank them from best to worst at some point. But I think, and I want to continue to debunk all of your food takes because I think that food is a carrier for sauce, and you're not going to convince me that you like steak by itself. It needs butter, it needs garlic, it needs salt or pepper or a seasoning. No one's just going to eat steak by itself. You're just not. You're just not. So I'm gonna move on to Mark Murphy here because he had said a lot of things. It's almost fun to try and wrap your brain around, like, where do I want to start with Mark Murphy? Because when he was at the Packers shareholders meeting, when asked about the Jordan Love situation, obviously, they gave him a contract extension that is going to get him paid around $13 million this coming season. And then next season, if he's back, he's going to get paid on a lot of incentives from this next year. And a lot of those are going to be hard to hit based off of where the Packers are heading into this season. But Mark Murphy made a comment that they're going to know where Jordan Love is in about 8 weeks through the season. And I just want to ask the Scalzo and Brust family if 8 weeks is enough. Is 8 weeks enough to know if Jordan Love is your quarterback moving forward? I do, in a weird way, think it's actually fair because he's been in the organization long enough. And I feel like when I hear, maybe I'm eating too much of the Alec Ingold conversation that I had, but he is talking about how he was in the Miami Dolphins system and Mike McDaniel is part of the same coaching tree, and he's seen Tua pick up the system in 1 year, and he's looking forward to the growth of second years. And he's like, the Packers have to be pretty confident in the fact that Jordan Love has been there. He's taken reps, and I hear Rasul Douglas saying he was throwing well in 22 in practice. So, is 8 games enough, Alex Strofe?
No, I don't think it is enough, and here's why, right? And I understand your point. This will be his 4th season in the system, but we have not seen him play real football in the system outside of 10 snaps against Philadelphia, half against Detroit in Week 18 of 21, and, of course, that Kansas City game in 21. So I just feel like it's hard to evaluate a quarterback, especially when the pieces you've put around him are younger than said young quarterback, right? The pass catchers around him are the most inexperienced group in the entire league by a vast majority, right? It gets 3 years separation between group number 31.
Isn't it in league history, too?
I don't know if that's true, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was.
Josh, I think you know that one. Pass catchers are the youngest in league history.
I believe that is the case.
Yes, because the Browns had
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Browns when they were 0-16.
It's first or second.
Yeah, it's next to the 0-16 Browns receivers and pass catchers.
I view 8 weeks as not enough time, right? I think Jordan Love will be fine, and I think he'll have a fine season. But is fine enough to tell you whether or not he's the guy in year number 1 as a starter? No, right? You look down south. Look at the Bears. Do they know if Justin Fields is the guy yet?
Well, probably not. But they have committed to the propaganda of believing in him and building around him. So
I like that you call it the propaganda.
To me, it is. I mean, because I'm not sold on him yet. But they at least from hang on, if I may for a second, can we just point out the obvious? What Mark Murphy said by we'll know about Jordan Love in the next 8 weeks is completely idiotic for him to say. The one thing that has bothered me, but has been good because that's what they should be doing. The entire team and the organization has been building Jordan Love up. They've been building him up, and now Mark Murphy in front of shareholders is going to say we're going to know about him in 8 weeks. Why would you even put that out there? Why would you even say that? Why would you give Packer fans an opportunity to think that you have doubt about him moving into next year after you traded Aaron Rodgers? You just don't need to say that part. Literally one time, Mark Murphy, learn coach speak. Learn communications, please. It's crazy.
You're preaching to the choir, brother.
Strofe, as I set up the conversation, I was just thinking, wait a second. We're setting up a conversation around if he's going to be good enough after 8 weeks because Mark Murphy said it? Everyone, A.J. Dillon, you name it, Romeo Dobbs, Rasul Douglas, all of his teammates, they're all talking about him in a glowing way. Why put this 8 week? Well, I will know if he's the quarterback in 8 weeks. It actually makes me go back and think this is why they didn't just pick up the 5th-year option, because they don't know what they have yet.
It's so nice to hear somebody else say this. Somebody else feels the rage that I have felt for the last year and a half from this bozo Mark Murphy. Every time you put a microphone in front of his face, he spews garbage, things that don't need to be said, and likely not only hurt the organization, but hurt players, right? You asked for me to rank some of the dumb things he said. I'm going to do it for you right now.
Great.
I've got 3 that come to mind,
Josh,
including this comment right here. Go ahead, Josh. Number 3 is this. This comment is the 3rd dumbest thing he said in the last 3 years. We'll know in 8 weeks. We'll know halfway through the season how Jordan Love will be as a quarterback, a starting quarterback. That's idiotic. Why would you even put this into the ether? You're right, Benny. Other guys are glowing about him, as they should. I don't know if we should buy into everything everybody says about him, his teammates, that is. but they're doing the right thing. You got to prop up your guy. Number 2 was said earlier this year on the WIAA Girls State Basketball statewide broadcast. He said, quote, "We will honor his request," being Aaron Rodgers to be traded. "We hope to have it done by March 15th. Before the trade was even done, he set a deadline on it, Ben. Are you aware when the Aaron Rodgers trade actually went through? He said he hopes to have it done by March 15th when NFL free agency opens. Do you know when it happened?
Definitely a month prior. Or like what was it? Like right before the draft?
April 25th.
Yeah.
April 25th.
It was that
Monday. He said we hope to have it done by March 15th and gave away any leverage the Packers had. They still made out okay, don't get me wrong, but any leverage the Packers had on March 12th or 11th, whenever he said it, he just poured it out the window. We hope to have it done by March 15th. That's the second dumbest thing Mark Murphy said in the last 3 years. Number 1, you know what's coming. He's a complicated fella. In the middle of the offseason, that Aaron Rodgers was struggling with the Packers and how they handled their separation from several veterans on the team, he said the first ballot Hall of Famer, soon-to-be 4-time MVP, was just simply a complicated fella by quoting a dead man. Mark Murphy quoted Ted Thompson when he called him a complicated fella. Not only is it idiotic to call your star player a complicated fella, it's idiotic to quote a dead guy who can't say whether or not he said that. Mark Murphy's a bozo and he needs to stop talking into microphones. That's my take.
There it is, Strofe's top 3 moments of Mark Murphy not saying anything good into a microphone. I've been there, Mark Murphy, but I feel like I'm doing good today. 800-990-3776. Again, 800-990-3776. Is 8 weeks enough to know what you have in Jordan Love next season? You can find that poll on Twitter at Scalzo and Brust. We'll hit on that and more next on Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra.
You're listening to Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra.
Do you not understand how milk works?
Boy.
What is the 2% versus 1% versus the skim?
If you had to guess, what would the difference be between whole milk, skim milk, 2%, 1%?
Whole milk, skim milk, 2%, 1%.
We just gave you the answer, pretty much.
Whole milk is like, it's right from the cow.
Scalzo and Brust, available anywhere you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
We're starting to see some brake lights on 94 in Waukesha County. There's a disabled vehicle on 94 westbound, about a mile and a half beyond the ramp from Moreland Road, off on the right shoulder, but from there pretty much all the way back to Moreland Road. We're seeing a lot of slowdowns there, and also coming out of the interchange with Highway 18, we're seeing some brake lights on 94 eastbound. Closer to downtown, 94 westbound also slow through the stadium interchange. Watch out for that crash on 94 westbound as well on 35th Street. That is off on the right shoulder there, but there's still some brake lights through the stadium. Traffic is brought to you by the Golden Mast Inn. Enjoy private gondola rides on Okauchee Lake now through August 13th. Learn more and schedule your ride at goldenmastin.com. And taking a look at the forecast tonight, partly cloudy, slight chance of showers, a low of 71. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and warm, more humid, a high of 88. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Wyatt Barmore-Pooley on 94.5 ESPN.
Kevin Moret here from Mentality Men's Health. Guys, did you know that the stored belly fat reduces your free testosterone? The more the belly grows, the harder it is to drop, mostly because of the decrease in free T. It's a vicious cycle that men are losing, and unfortunately, everyone can see it. Mentality breaks that cycle with semaglutide, an industry-changing weight loss medication that can help you lose up to 15% of your body weight while preserving your testosterone. Join our over 20,000 clients to look and feel the way you deserve. In Milwaukee, go to lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
You wanted lower prices? Fleet Farm's got them. Like KT Nut and Fruit Blend, now only $32.99 for a 20-pound bag. Or how about $3.49 a quart for Resolute Conventional or Synthetic Blend Motor Oil? Also, Resolute Classic Green Antifreeze is now just $10.99 a gallon. And control summer weeds with Gordon's Amine 240 Weed Killer. 2.5 gallons, now only $69.99. Look for new lower prices on everything you need for everyday life with price drops at Fleet Farm.
The Saganiac Planning Marquette Championship moment. Last season, expected to do nothing and did everything. Preseason, Marquette picked 9th of 11 teams. At the end, 17-3 and won the Big East regular season title by 2 games. Won the last 6 in a row, including over 2 nationally ranked teams. First Marquette team ever, outright Big East regular season conference champs. And it wasn't close, and it wasn't 9th. 2023 champion. If you're a company owner offering medical insurance for your employees, you may be sick and tired of the constant increase in rates or change in benefits. Now's the time to take a look at a different type of plan. At Saganiac Planning, we call it level funding. It's an opportunity to keep premiums low and possibly receive a return of your premiums. For more information regarding level funding, please call John Saganiac Jr., 262-783-6161. That's 262-783-6161. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service.
Neil Armstrong waited 6 hours and 39 minutes to step onto the surface of the moon. Jackie Robinson waited 20 months to play his first game with the Brooklyn Dodgers. And even DiCaprio had to wait 22 years to win an Oscar. You can wait until your destination. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
It's Scalzo and Brust on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Michelob Ultra. It's only worth it if you enjoy it.
Is 8 weeks enough to see Jordan Love on the NFL football field to decide if he's the future quarterback of the Green Bay Packers? That's all Mark Murphy, Packers president, thinks it's going to take, as he said that at the Packers shareholders meeting today. I said that I tend to agree with it, and that's kind of because that I had said it last week, and I'm trying to do this thing, Josh, where I say something and I stick to my convictions. Even though I think Greg called me out, he goes, "You're not in 8 weeks. You're not. You're going to need more than 8 weeks." And that's the thing. I think I'm going to need more than 8 weeks. And look, I think 8 weeks or not, I just think it's a bad look from Mark Murphy putting that out there, putting a timeline in his quarterback's head when everyone's been building him up this offseason, his teammates. Wild. You know, it's just a fascinating move, and it just takes me back to him saying to Packer fans they don't know if he's the guy, right? Everyone's been at least telling us he's the guy, and then the man in charge of the organization says we'll know by 8 weeks if he's the guy. Keep that internal, right? Like plan that internally, right? Build up the guy that you extended for 2 years and built incentives for him next year. And if he does great, great. If not, play him out the rest of the season. If he's not your guy after 8 weeks, you're likely not winning games, which likely means that you're going to lose a lot of games and have a good draft pick. And then you hope Aaron Rodgers plays 65% of the snaps for the Jets and you get their draft pick and you use that capital to do something with it. So it's just fascinating that Mark Murphy would do this.
Yeah, totally fascinating. And you bring that up, and that actually makes me curious. I'm curious what the player's perspective on Mark Murphy is, right? Because he's not the owner, but he is the president. He's like the top face of the organization that's not directly involved with football operations. Hearing Mark Murphy say this, right? We'll know probably midway through the season what Jordan Love is essentially what he said. And I guess I'm just curious on like a guy like Rasul Douglas, who I know we'll talk about later, who was gushing over him on a podcast with Darius Slay. What he thinks of Mark Murphy saying, yeah, it's only going to take 8 weeks, right? Or what Christian Watson, or maybe some of those rookie tight ends, what did they think of these comments? Are they keeping an eye on it? I feel like you're going to see it, right? Because he is the president of the organization. This isn't like some talking head, on First Take or something, right? So it is fascinating to me. I'm curious on what their perspective on it is, because it's not like this is Matt LaFleur. This isn't your head coach saying, I need to know what my quarterback is by week 9. Right? If he said that, that's carrying a whole lot of different weight than when Mark Murphy.
Oh, he has
says
tempered expectations, but he hasn't put it like an ultimatum date on it.
Exactly, right. And like tempered expectations are fine, and that's what they should be, right? I know we're not calling it a rebuild, at least a lot of players in that building that aren't named David Bakhtiari aren't calling it a rebuild, but that's what this is. You have the youngest roster in the NFL, you have a bunch of inexperienced skill players and pass catchers, and an inexperienced quarterback. So it's a rebuild, it's going to be a rough year, but he needs time. That's all he needs. That's what we knew last season when we wanted to see him when Aaron Rodgers had the broken thumb and this team was struggling. We wanted to see Jordan Love come in for the last 5-6 games, and then, of course, they went on that winning streak and actually were alive entering Week 18. But you just need time to understand what Jordan Love is, and I don't know that 8 football games is enough. I mean, you might have an idea, you might see some flashes, but you're also going to see some extreme lows. It's a young quarterback with young skill players around him, a lot of question marks on the offensive side of the ball. So there's going to be high points, but there's also going to be low points. That's what I'm so fascinated by with all of this.
800-990-3776 is the ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. We also have it on Twitter at Scalzo and Brust. Is 8 weeks enough time for the Packers to determine if Jordan Love is the quarterback of the future? Right now, 57% of the people say yes, and so they agree with Packers president Mark Murphy, who said that's the amount of time that they're going to need to decide, and 43% say no. Again, Tyler chimes in on Twitter, 8 weeks would actually be 3 years and 8 weeks. If that's not enough, ... And so, again, it's that fine line of, I don't think that the Packers versus the Chiefs, when Aaron Rodgers had COVID, is a fair way to judge Jordan Love at all. Like, it's just not.
Right.
He didn't. He sat out the year before, or was it the same season? He sat out the training camp. Right. Like he didn't participate essentially.
Well, he sat out 2020, and this game was in
2021. Yeah, making sure my timeline was right. So sitting out in 2020, playing his first game in 2021 on short notice because Rodgers had COVID, and seeing 10 snaps when they were up on the Eagles last year. It's just so fascinating that the Packers had a speck of hope to make the playoffs. And Rodgers didn't even play that great. The defense got a bunch of turnovers. They won 5 straight games. Because I guarantee, with the thumb injury and the rib injury that Aaron Rodgers had, if they would have lost one freaking game, we would have saw Jordan Love in the regular season. And we wouldn't be doing this is 8 weeks enough thing, because we would have something to go off of further than what is the media telling us from practice? What are the players saying about him? I can't get over the fact that, like, Josh, I remember that show specifically because Greg said, should you shut him down or not? Because they had like a 0.3 or a 3% chance to make the playoffs at the point that Aaron Rodgers hurt his thumb and they were looking at the outside in the playoffs. And I remember you and I were like, no, shut him down. And Greg said, if you have a chance to compete, you compete and you play. And he ended up being right and wrong because he competed and they had a chance to go to the playoffs. They were 8-9. They were 8-8 heading into the Lions game. They win, they go to the playoffs. But ultimately, he didn't win that game, so he didn't see Jordan Love. It was like the ultimate lose-lose in terms of the Jordan Love situation of not being able to see your first-round pick play before this year.
Well, you look at last year, right? It was the worst-case scenario. The team went on a winning streak. They were one game away from the playoffs, so they have the worst possible draft position to not make the playoffs last year, and they ended up okay. They traded up and drafted Lucas Van Ness with the Jets, and then you also got nothing on Jordan Love, and I'm worried we're going to see that again this year. And obviously, worst-case scenario in 2023 is a little bit different than it was in 2022. The worst-case scenario in 2023 is the Packers go, 6-11, 7-10, mediocre, middle-of-the-road record. and you just don't have a great takeaway on Jordan Love. There were some high moments, there were some low moments, but you didn't see the consistency you hoped for. Now, does that mean it was his fault? Maybe. Does that mean it was the inexperienced receivers and pass catchers' fault? Maybe. Maybe a little bit of both. I mean, that's my worry for 2023, is that it is a worst-case scenario situation. Best-case scenario is they go 10-7, 11-6. They win the division. Jordan Love's awesome. He lights the world on fire. You have your guy. Or another good scenario, in a weird way, is they go 2-15, 3-14. You clearly know Jordan Love isn't the guy. You have a great draft pick and a great opportunity to move on from Jordan Love after 1 year. Those are the two good scenarios. I'm worried we're going to be somewhere in the middle after 2023.
Yeah, the hard part about trying to figure out this Jordan Love situation is the 3 years that he sat behind Aaron Rodgers, because that's just not the new NFL anymore, right? The top 5 picks are playing right away, whether for good or for bad. You're getting to know them, and some are getting chances to thrive, and some don't play well. And I don't know, Josh Allen wasn't that great. If you shut him down after 8 weeks, would he be the Bills quarterback? So that but also he wasn't a part of the organization like Jordan Love was, and that's the battle that I'm facing here when it comes to Mark Murphy saying 8 weeks enough to know about Jordan Love.
I'm glad you mentioned Josh Allen, because he was the case I was going to use for the statement. I'm pretty sure when someone isn't the guy within 8 weeks, but I think you don't always know if they are the guy within 8 weeks, meaning you can pretty much tell when you see a quarterback who doesn't perform well, and it's pretty obvious out of the gates.
Stink.
Right. Aside from Josh Allen, who didn't totally stink. He was erratic and a little reckless with the ball. But other than that, you pretty much know, especially somebody who's waited 3 years to play. Well, you'll have a better idea if he's not the guy than you would if you're okay, we can take this into the future, and this is something we can build off of.
I mostly tend to agree with you there, Joshy, but I think of a guy who just signed a massive contract this offseason. Daniel Jones. Isn't that quarterback hell for a team? Because he's clearly not going to be a top 5 quarterback this year, right? Unless something completely changes in his game, he's not going to be regarded among the names of Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, etc., right? And he signed a huge contract, and now the Giants are stuck with him. But is he the guy? Is that if Jordan Love is Daniel Jones to a T?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was actually just gonna add. Why would you sign Daniel Jones and not find a way to bring Saquon Barkley in? Because their entire offense was based around their running game and how those two were together. Now I don't want to get lost in the bad team building of New York teams, because that's kind of what they do out there at MetLife.
But I bring him up for a reason, Benny, because if Jordan Love is Daniel Jones, do you have an answer?
Yes.
Is he your guy?
No, he's not my guy. I'm okay with exactly. I don't want to live in purgatory.
Does Brian Gutekunst subscribe to the same theory? Because if I'm thinking from a general manager's perspective,
honestly, I don't think he does.
Million examples. The grass ain't always greener.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Brian Gutekunst is the one that matters, because even though Mark Murphy's making headlines, it seems like the football decision making is all Goody. And so whether or not 8 weeks is good enough for Mark Murphy, is that what Brian Gutekunst told Mark Murphy, and that's why he's spewing it out? Because that 8 weeks, if Brian Gutekunst is well, I don't care what Mark Murphy said. I want to see a full 17 weeks before I make my decision if he's going to be a guy that we want to extend beyond the contract that we gave him, or bring him back next year on the same terms. It's just get me to football season, baby. Get me to football season.
I know. We're almost there, Benny.
800-990-3776. Is 8 weeks enough to know if Jordan Love is the quarterback moving forward for the Green Bay Packers? We'll continue to talk Packers. Hear from Rasul Douglas, more from Mark Murphy. I forgot to text my sister happy birthday for, I think, the second year in a row. Strofe. We'll hit on that all on Scalzo and Brust next.
You're listening to Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra.
I thought to myself, man, I got to go out and have a beer with these clowns. They're pulling off this kind of stuff, talking about dude wiping his hinder or not wiping whatever it was. and it went off the rails, and I was like, man, these guys got these people to pay them to do this on the radio.
Scalzo and Brust, available anywhere you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
This is the year to buy the woman you love a big anniversary diamond.
What's a big anniversary diamond?
A big anniversary diamond is any diamond that's at least twice as big as the one in her engagement ring.
Why twice as big?
A big anniversary diamond says, I love you twice as much today as the day I married you.
People are always so happy when they see the price we can give them.
Kessler's has wonderful prices on 1 carat, carat and a half, 2 carat, and 3 carat big anniversary diamonds.
People will ask you about your big diamond everywhere you go.
So big anniversary diamonds are the hot new trend?
It began with men buying big anniversary diamonds for the women they love, but now it's gone to a whole new level.
Women are now buying big anniversary diamonds for their men.
Women are saying two can play that game.
I like games that two can play.
Everybody likes games that two can play.
Welcome to Kessler's.
For the location nearest you, go to KesslersDiamonds.com.
Life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance because you'll feel protected no matter how the wind blows. All so you can keep enjoying the home of your dreams. And our expert agents can help you save up to 23% when you bundle home with auto. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. American Family Insurance. Get a quote? Find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Looking for a hot ride this summer? Find yours this July at Potawatomi. You could win your share of $400,000 in cash and prizes, or rumble all summer long in one of 4 brand new Harley-Davidson motorcycles. It's the Hot Ride Motorcycle Giveaway this July, only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Visit paysbig.com/hot ride for more details. Must be 21 and a club member to play.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Brust for Road America. Make the most out of your summer at Elkhart Lakes Road America. The race season is still going strong. Don't miss a minute of the fun. Camp on site all weekend and enjoy free admission for kids 16 and under with a paying adult at the gate. Enjoy affordable family fun with the return of the NASCAR Xfinity Series to Road America July 27th through the 29th. Get your tickets at roadamerica.com. Come for the experience, stay for the race. Road America, America's national park of speed.
Juniper Pools is kicking off football season in a big way this year. Purchase a spa between July 29th and August 31st, and you win when our team wins. If the green and gold win the big game, you'll receive your hot tub purchase for free. If they win the division, you get $1,000 back, and if they make the wild card playoff game, you score a $250 in-store gift card. For complete promotional terms and conditions, visit poolpeople.com. Get ready to relax and back the green and gold this season with Juniper Pools on West Wisconsin Avenue by Costco in Appleton.
Papa, why can't we telegraph while riding a horse?
Son, there ain't no one to blame but Jeffro. He was riding old Betsy the Stallion, tip-tapping away at his telegraph, when blam! Ran right into the side of the saloon.
Well, if Jeffro can't do it, neither should you. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Keep the good times rolling every Sunday with GKB founder and CEO Craig Karmazin on Sunday Karma.
No rum shaking. Did you say that off the air, Kyle? You gotta say that on the air. It was not rum shaking. It was not anything inappropriate. It just was totally irrelevant.
Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin.
Because isn't that how GMs get chosen, right? You trade up, in my opinion, cost the team a chance to win a championship.
Sundays from 10 to noon on ESPN Wisconsin. You're listening to Scalzo and Brust on 94.5 ESPN. Missed any of the show? Find us on Wisconsin On Demand wherever you get your podcasts. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
Chris in O-Town, the official and unofficial best friend of the Scalzo and Brust family.
The infidelity victim.
Thanks, guys. That's normally what I say. Glad you guys are on your toes this Monday. He chimes in on, is 8 weeks enough to judge Jordan Love like Mark Murphy thinks it is to see if he's the quarterback of the future? Oh, my gosh. Yes, 8 weeks is enough. Move in with someone, and 5 days in, you figure it out. Go wash your hands. Get on the love train. Josh, you work with slobs. Chris in O-Town. Did you just?
Well,
where did this wash your hands come from? I wash my hands
Didn't
now.
you and I have a discussion?
I mean, Chris in O-Town's drunk and he's living in 2 years ago. Maybe I didn't wash my hands then, but I've grown and evolved. I wash my hands now. I swear.
You convinced us
every time.
Yeah, that was my lying voice, as Josh as Josh called out there. That being said, Chris, as a guy who got cheated on, are you sure 5 days with someone is enough to figure it out? You might want to rethink that.
Whoa, Benny, below the belt.
It's not. No, I'm just calling it how I see it. I'm just saying. But maybe I'm not one to call anyone out because I think, Strofe, you told me that I did this last year, and if this is true, I really suck. Because it was Saturday morning. It was Saturday the 22nd. Everything's still a blur. Yes, it was. It was 7:30 on Saturday morning. I was driving to play a round of golf at this tournament I was at, which was a ton of fun, but involved a lot of Mick Ultras. And so I saw on my calendar that it was because I have reoccurring calendar invites for all my siblings because I have 12 nieces and nephews, and I want to at least be aware of what's going on. I don't think my sister wanted to get a phone call from me at 7:30 in the morning. She works 4 to 12, 4 to 1, like morning shifts. So I figured it was a Saturday morning. She wants to sleep in. And so I was like, all right, I'm not going to call her right now. I'm going to call her later because for siblings, for some reason, I don't know what your guys' rules are in terms of siblings or family. We call just the immediate family. Parents or siblings. Yep. And so I wanted to call her, when she was up, and I got home, I laid in bed, it was 11 o'clock at night, and I texted her happy birthday, and I did not get a response. Should I not have texted? Nice. What should I have done?
So 2 things here. When you mentioned this to me earlier, you did not mention her work shift. If she's starting work at 4 a.m. Monday through Friday, there's no chance in hell she's not awake at 7:30 a.m.
Yeah, but she's like a snoozer, Like I didn't want to disrupt her birthday if all she wanted to do was have her husband take care of the 2 kids and not have to answer to anyone in the morning, even if she is up.
That's fair, but if you're just calling to wish her happy birthday, I think that's fair game.
You know what I should have done? I should have just said, "Are you up?" Text message, "I want to wish you happy birthday" before I go drinking all day.
Or you could have texted her at 7:30 saying, I have to golf all day.
That's what I'm
saying.
saying.
You might want to be sleeping, so happy birthday. Give me a call later if you want to chat.
Ugh.
Yeah, hindsight's 2020.
The hard part is, I thought I was doing the right thing in the moment.
Yeah, I think that is thoughtful. I'll give you that.
I said, worst brother in the world.
This last year.
I'm sorry. I hope you had a happy birthday.
She didn't respond.
At 11 p.m.
Yeah. But if she's going to bed early, there's a chance that she was fast asleep by the time she got it. And, you get a lot of text message, a lot of phone calls. It gets lost in the shuffle.
No. Not when you call every year. Or allegedly call every year.
Do you remember last year? It was a Friday afternoon. I came to Milwaukee. We were all sitting in the studio together. The One Call That's All, Gruber Law Offices Studios. Yes. And we called Ben's sister on the air because he had forgotten to call her all day long. She sent us the voicemail. Yeah. Ben left her a voicemail, and I don't think she responded to that one either.
Yeah, but I did talk to her after the show. Crap. That wasn't good either.
That's 2 years in a row.
Holy crap. So I have to do something big.
I don't know what big is. But
I don't know what big is either. She's not my girlfriend. She's my sister. You know what I mean? I can't take her out on a date. What do you do for your sister?
You could take her out to dinner, Ben. That's not
take
weird.
Her kids for her for a day.
It's a lot, Josh.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like fun.
You said big, so
it's fair.
I don't even have a guest bedroom for the kids. 800-990-3776. Again, 800-990-3776. Am I an a-hole? Yes.
Yes.
1. Gosh darn it. Why is it every year that I do that? Chris in O-Town chimes back in. Don't make excuses for being a bad brother. Very sad, Ben. Own it. It took 17 years for her to move on in reference to his ex-girlfriend, Chris in O-Town. John in West Bend, welcome into Scalzo and Brust.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I was wondering, because I've heard the interactions between you and your brother that gets, more than the rest of us. So I'm wondering, is your sister the only one that you're slighting, or do you slight all your siblings equally?
So,
good question.
That's a great question. My brother Jonathan, that gets more than all of us. I think he's hitting, he's batting about 90% in terms of sexual relations with my sister-in-law, which is crazy to say out loud.
That's crazy.
Heck yeah.
Go JB. His birthday's October 1st, so I don't forget his because mine's October 3rd. We're 2 days apart, so we usually end up celebrating together. August 16th was my brother Steven's birthday. I called him at 10:30, I think 5 years ago, and he was not too pleased about that. So those two siblings are the slighted ones, John. I hate how intense you are of a listener, but I also love it at the same time. Thank you for the call.
Thanks you for the call.
It's one of
Are
these.
you just the bad sibling?
That's not why did you hear that?
Yeah.
That was even though I'm trying, right? I put in the reoccurring calendar invites every year.
Am I weird that all my happy birthdays from family come from text, and that's what I send also, and I would prefer it to be that way?
No, maybe I just need to start doing that every year.
I talk to them when I need to, and I don't if they send me a text message at any point throughout the day, it doesn't affect me when it happened or how it happened.
Yeah, you're oh, that's nice, and move on.
It's more thank you.
Because
blah, blah,
you know
blah,
what? Let's be honest here. If we're being honest, the birthday conversations that we have, it's
what
hey,
are you doing
what's
today?
it's the same crap. And
do you feel old?
And you know what? When they call me, it's kind of a chore.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah,
I'm banning the Brust siblings phone call. I am banning the Brust siblings phone call. Don't call me. Just text me.
No.
What, Strofe?
I like the definitiveness. You are not in a position to do that. You're the one that skips it. You are the last person in the Brust family heritage line that has the ability to ban the phone call on your birthday. You're not allowed to make that call. Your sister's allowed to make that call. You are not.
Well, I think that's fair. I will present that to her as hey, I suck.
Yeah, because
I know I suck. Can I just suck and send a text message and that be acceptable?
I just feel like you're probably on her S list, so I wouldn't ask that maybe this week. I would give it a few weeks. Maybe when your birthday's coming up in October, I'd bring it up.
Yeah, maybe that's the thing. When do I reach out again? Got to give it some time.
Soon.
Ron in the Key chimes in, bad sibling and bad child, ? As Ron in referencing his parents are still together, mine are divorced, and he blames it all on me, which probably...
And Strofe.
Yeah, Strofe as well.
He blamed every divorce on me on Friday. You missed out on that.
Oh, well, that makes two of us. We'll be back in 2 minutes as Rasul Douglas.
Thanks, Josh.
The opposite of Mark Murphy, trying to hype up his quarterback, talking about all the throws he's been able to make and how excited he is for Jordan Love to be the QB moving forward. We'll hear from Rasul Douglas, the Packers cornerback, on Jordan Love next on Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra. In 2 minutes, don't go anywhere.
Brake lights both ways on 94. On 94 westbound, we're seeing them basically from the Stadium interchange all the way back through the Menominee Valley as you come out of the Marquette interchange. It's a little bit better on 94 eastbound, just a little bit of a slowdown before you head through the Stadium. And once you get there into downtown, it should be lightening up. 41 southbound, still slow from Highway Q to the Zoo. A 20-minute ride right now. That's about a 6-minute delay. And then slowdowns on 43 both ways southbound from Brown Deer to downtown. A 25-minute ride now. That's about a 14-minute delay. And then a 4-minute slowdown on 43 northbound from downtown to Brown Deer Road. Traffic is brought to you by the Golden Mast Inn. Enjoy private gondola rides on Okachi Lake now through August 13th. Learn more and schedule your ride at goldenmastin.com. Taking a look at the forecast. Tonight will be partly cloudy, slight chance of showers, low of 71. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, very warm and humid, a high of 88. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Wyatt Barmore-Pooley on 94.5 ESPN.
Magoo's on the Mound is your game day headquarters. Located on 59th and Blue Mound, just minutes from the ballpark. Magoo's has food options for everyone and a vast selection of craft beers and cocktails. Enjoy some drinks and watch all the games with your buds. Or stay entertained with pool, darts, trivia, poker, or live music. Plus, Magoo's on the Mound offers plenty of free parking and shuttles to all home games for the crew. Check out their food and drink menu as well as upcoming events at magoos.biz. That's magoos.biz.
Yeah, they're football guys, but they don't shy away from the big topics of the day.
So you won't listen to their music because was it a bad breakup?
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Also sponsored by American Family Insurance.
I don't know. You play one of their songs on
this
our
guy
show.
broke up with Florida Georgia Line. You should like him more.
I do like Tyler. Yeah, it's a good career move for him.
You're still not going to go to the concert.
Weekdays 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Hey, this is Jen Latta. You're listening to 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
For your sports talk fix every day from 4 to 6, it's Scalzo and Brust. For your sports talk fix every day from 4 to 6, it's Scalzo and Brust. For your sports talk fix every day from 4 to 6, it's Scalzo and Brust. For your sports talk fix every day from 4 to 6, it's Scalzo and Brust.
Live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue.
It's a party, baby.
This is Scalzo and Brust. Woo! Presented by Michelob Ultra.
It's a party, baby.
On 94.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
It's a party, baby. Woo! It's a party, baby.
Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Ben Brust here alongside Alex Strofe, holding it down at the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison Studios. I'm at the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Josh DiMaggio. 800-990-3776 is the ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. And, you know, it's been interesting over the last couple months because I've been craving, Josh, as you know, someone to say something about Jordan Love that has less to do about leadership and more to do about substance on the field. We've had the one wow throw that Packers Twitter went crazy about when he found Christian Watson over Jair Alexander in the clear, and everyone was like, whoa.
96 yards,
boom.
Yeah.
Well, Rasul gives me a little bit more to play with here, Josh. Let's hear from Rasul Dougler on the Big Play Slay Pod.
Dougler.
I like how he carried himself to the game. He got that swag to him, like, all right, I hear y'all, but I don't at the same time. Like, and I'm a be myself. And I think that's what we trying to take that off his back. Like, you don't gotta be Aaron and A-Rod. You don't have to be him, because honestly, it's only like one or two of him anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's already rare.
Come on, man. You don't see stuff like that, like people like that. So I'm like, you don't gotta be him, bro. Like, you just gotta be you, and the best you is all we need. But we gotta make sure we keep supporting him and, keep being on him, because he good though. Like, he can make every throw, he can make it. Like,
I done seen it.
Yeah,
I done seen it.
He last used to hit us in the pocket with like no looks, everything. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, so he got it all in his game. It's just whatever he want to do, he could do. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think it's going to be a pretty good year. I think people don't really know what he's capable of doing.
So that's Rasul Douglas on the Big Play Slay Pod. That is an interesting podcast name. But that being said, that is a little bit more insight of what I've been looking for, right? Like, that's the first time I've heard it, right? That he can make every throw. Now, I'm not gonna lie. This doesn't mean all of a sudden I'm like, oh man, Jordan Love can do it all. Like, Rasul Douglas is, They signed him after he came off of the practice squad. He had one big year of making big-time interceptions. He had an okay year last year. They're going to move him around. Look, the defense has sucked, Strofe. They were supposed to be a top 5 defense. I'm not going to listen to Rasul Douglas and be like, oh, his word is like the gospel. But I think it's a step in the right direction. That's how I take it.
Yeah, I mostly agree with that. Look, it's encouraging, right? It absolutely is encouraging. This is what, as you said, this is what you've been clamoring for. This is what you want to hear of a guy who we just don't know a ton about on the football field. But is it the end-all, be-all? No. Does this make me think that Jordan Love is going to be an all-pro this year? No. But it is encouraging. We've heard other whispers a little bit from other players. I remember last year, Dallin Levitt and Devondre Campbell, I believe it was, on Clubhouse Live in Appleton. They essentially said something along the lines of, yeah, he's good. He's going to be really good. He's better than NFL starters. But he wasn't the starter yet. We didn't really care that much at that point. Now we're hearing Rasul Douglas literally gush over him. And I understand your point, right? The defense hasn't been very good the last year and a half-ish. But Rasul Douglas is still a starting quarterback in the NFL. I trust his judgment when it comes to quarterback play. Is this something he has to say? Yes. But he's getting into real reasons. Throwing no looks at practice. It makes me say, oh my goodness. Those are good signs. Now, this doesn't mean that Jordan Love is necessarily going to light the world on fire, but it is encouraging. It is something he has to say to a point, but he took it a bit further than other guys have, because you've heard guys like A.J. Dillon and other guys in the offensive room say something along the lines of, we'd run through a brick wall for him. He's a great guy. He's a great leader. That doesn't move the needle as much as real, tangible examples on the practice field from Jordan Love and from guys that are playing with the first-team defense. So this is good news.
It is good news. I just think it's funny that like this would have been bigger to me, and this would have been like so much more of like a boom. Can you like finally like this would have been the whole thing I would have been fixated on until Bozo Brains Mark Murphy spoke today. You know, you agree with me? He is Bozo Brains.
I do.
He put it out there. Like again, I'm going to continue to come back to it because again. The dichotomy of Rasul Douglas saying he can make every throw, and like that's what I've been looking for. But at the same time, I'm like, well, then why would Mark Murphy say we'll know if he's good enough to be our quarterback, by 8 games? You know what I mean? Like
he's almost like the friend you tell secrets to, and then he accidentally lets the secrets slip to other friends, and he's like, whoops, shouldn't have said that. That's Mark
Murphy. You under the
But
assumption that Goody's telling him this, and he's just speaking to the media? Because to me, I just think. Like Mark Murphy's just kind of like oh, here's what I've been hearing. I'm thinking spit.
Yeah, well, I feel like when you're talking from an evaluation standpoint, right? So those are the higher-ups. That's LaFleur, that's Goody, that's some of Goody's right-hand men, and Mark Murphy potentially in the room maybe having a Mick Ultra and discussing, what would we call a success? Hopefully we know by week 8. Hopefully we do, right? Hopefully he lights the world on fire like Mahomes did in his first couple starts back in 2018, I believe that was. And you're like, yeah, you've got the guy, right? That is the ideal situation for what happens with Jordan Love. But you gain nothing by saying this in the public eye. For Rasul Douglas, though, you gain something, right? You and I are sitting here saying, yes, this is good. A starting cornerback is evaluating his teammates' play and saying he does some things that make me verbally say, oh, my goodness. That's good news. But when Mark Murphy is coming out here and just kind of spewing whatever, right? Hopefully we know by halfway through the season. That's just not helping anybody. Whereas Rasul Douglas pumping some confidence into their new starting quarterback, that at least does something. At least he's going and talking to another player in Darius Slay who got to see Jordan Love up close and personal in that Philadelphia game, and they're agreeing that, yeah, he's got some good stuff. That's just a positive sign. It's a little bit more encouraging. It makes me a little bit more optimistic, but it doesn't move the needle a ton.
Is it crazy to think that like maybe like today at Lambeau Field when Mark Murphy's speaking that like he just think he's speaking to the shareholders, like, and he doesn't know that like there's media and camera phones and videos, like going out there, and he's just like, I'm at a shareholders meeting. Nothing I say is gonna get out there.
You think he learned his lesson from the WIA interview from a couple months back, right?
No.
Where you think he'd learn his lesson, but I guess it's a fair point. He is an older guy, 68 years old if I'm not mistaken. So he's just not used to maybe all the camera phones and stuff. So I guess you might not be wrong.
Explain something to me
it's
here.
A fun theory.
I don't understand how these two things are really related in any manner. What Mark Murphy said was kind of putting a deadline and pressure on Jordan Love, if you want to take it that way. And Rasul Douglas, like, I don't think less of what Rasul Douglas said because of what Mark Murphy said. I have a hard time connecting the two.
I think they're connected. I think they're connected in terms of the pressure, right? Like, I don't view Rasul Douglas saying he's got it. It's just a matter of if he puts it on the field as a lot of pressure. But I guess that would be why it's related, because Mark Murphy, you're right, set a deadline and adds pressure to his new QB1, whereas Rasul Douglas is like, yeah, this guy's it. He's really good. And maybe that puts some pressure, but he also said in the same interview, in the same breath, I don't answer people when they ask me if he's going to be it, because I want him to prove that himself. So that's how I view them similarly, but you're not wrong. These are two completely opposite spectra, or opposite sides of the spectrum.
Well, I'll let my crazy brain connect the two somehow, in which, like, to me, when I hear Rasul Douglas talk about him making all the throws, right, and building that confidence from a playing perspective, like, that, to me, is so valuable from a standpoint that if he's been able to do that, then there's no reason to even throw out the evaluation thing, right? Like, there's enough confidence within the front office that they don't have to even think about saying, well, no by 8 games. They think they're holding an ace in the hole, and, like, there's no reason to put a deadline, because they're just going to be like, wow, we've seen him make all the throws. Like, we're really excited to get out there and play, that there's not a need to be like, hey, well, no by 8 games. It's like, we kind of know, and let's, like, keep this quiet because we really think we got Jordan Love on a good value for this year, and let's see how this plays out. It just puts a little bit more doubt in my mind that they're not feeling the same thing Rasul is.
So that makes sense to me, but there is a way you could turn that, of him saying that he's just kind of speaking from a place of confidence in, we think Jordan Love is the guy, and everyone else is going to know in 8 weeks. Now, do I think that's necessarily
what he was doing?
I think he kind of shared what they've talked about internally, like, you know, around the 8-week mark, we should have some confidence in either way, if I were to bet. But I wish
he would have said it like that.
I
agree.
I do see what you're saying now.
Yeah. I mean, look,
Joshy,
yeah.
You should have spun it like that from the get-go. I mean, now you've actually got me thinking maybe Mark Murphy isn't a bozo. If you would have explained it like that from the top, I would have been like, yeah, you know, hopefully he's right. Hopefully
you're
he
so
does light
down
the world on fire. Mahomes #2.
Yeah, you're so down on that. No matter what he said, it was going to be like negative. But what's not negative is the opportunity that I have after this 3-day bender. Look, I can't even do 2 days, so 3 days is not good for my health. So I got to get back to the Princeton Club. And tomorrow morning, look, I can't wait to see Maddie. I've gotten too long of a time away from the Princeton Club here in New Berlin. They also have a wonderful facility in the west side, on the east side, in Fishburg, the express locations in Madison, but the steam room's calling my name. I might sit in the steam room in the sauna for about an hour tomorrow morning to sweat out all of the toxins from the weekend, plus get a great workout in, get the endorphins flowing, because it helps me find my better tomorrow. And you can too. With the cleanest health clubs in Wisconsin, when you think about free childcare with your membership, especially in summertime, right? You know, you may have to figure out more plans with a kid and might not be able to fit your workout in. Just know you got those 2 hours that you could drop off your kid and get work done yourself. Get that workout in. Get your endorphins flowing. Find your better tomorrow, because it just gets harder and harder as life goes. And the Princeton Club continues to provide you resources to help you reach your goals. They've done it for me. They will do it to you. Just check out the Princeton Club and you will love it and enjoy it every single day. Mark Murphy says a lot more. We'll dive into that next. Also, we haven't done some 1 or 0. So I'm excited because, Joshy, I saw your first 1 or 0, and it's about right. And it's about Steve the Homer True. We're going to hit on that next on Scalzo and Brust, presented by Mick Ultra.
You're listening to Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra.
But, like, how did you miscalculate the fart?
It's just like it was a miscalculation. And I was really hoping it wasn't, and it was gross because
we don't need this.
Yeah, you don't need
so
details.
You pooped your pants.
I pooped my pants.
Scalzo and Brust, available anywhere you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
slowdowns continuing to get a little bit worse. 41 southbound from Highway Q to the Zoo, now up to a 25-minute ride. That's about a 10-minute delay. 94 through the stadium, both ways from the Zoo to downtown and back from downtown to the Zoo is anywhere from 3 to 4 minutes delay. That'll be about an 8 to 10-minute ride there. 43 southbound now up to a 30-minute ride between Brown Deer Road and downtown. That is up to a 21-minute delay. At 43 northbound, getting slow as well. Downtown to Brown Deer Road is a 16-minute ride. That's about a 5-minute delay. Taking a look at your forecast for tonight. Partly cloudy, slight chance of showers, a low of 71. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and warm. It'll be more humid with a slight chance of showers and a high of 88. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Wyatt Barmar-Pooley on 94.5 ESPN.
Here in Wisconsin, one name is synonymous with fantastic frozen pizza, Palermo's. For almost 60 years, Palermo's has focused on feeding Wisconsin families. And though Palermo's has grown a lot since 1964, they're still family-owned. They're still proud to call Milwaukee home. And they're still committed to making the best frozen pizza possible. From their new and improved rising crust pizzas to their guilt-free Primo thin pies, Palermo's has a delicious slice for every appetite. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer food aisle. Palermo's, flavor is our family's business.
Over the past year, we've been hard at work improving our sales processes, expanding and remodeling our facilities, investing in new technology, and continuing our commitment to serve our customers, employees, and community. That's why at Boucher, when our customers leave the dealership, we hope we've made a customer for life. Whether you're in need of a new vehicle, are stopping in for routine maintenance, or are in need of collision work, we will be here to help. With 20 locations throughout southeastern Wisconsin and 30 brands, we've got thousands of new and used vehicles for you to choose from. Our dedicated employees have been named a 2022 top workplace for the past 11 years, and we always have been and will continue to be family-owned and operated. Proud to be your Wisconsin family dealership group since 1977. Visit us today at Boucher.com.
The place where you make your wildest food fantasies come true. The place where you take a ride on the iconic giant slide. The place where you smell all the smells. That's right, it all happens at the Wisconsin State Fair. From August 3rd through the 13th, head to State Fair Park for some summer fun. Get your tickets at wistatefair.com. Stay up to date on the Green and Gold all off season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee. You wanted lower prices? Fleet Farm's got them. Like KT Nut and Fruit Blend, now only $32.99 for a 20-pound bag. Or how about $3.49 a quart for Resolute Conventional or Synthetic Blend Motor Oil? Also, Resolute Classic Green Antifreeze is now just $10.99 a gallon. And control summer weeds with Gordon's Amine 240 Weed Killer. 2.5 gallons, now only $69.99. Look for new lower prices on everything you need for everyday life with price drops at Fleet Farm.
What is dedication?
People ask, how your children learn how to ride a bike and you didn't? I just created an environment where they taught themselves and all I had to do was be there.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Scalzo and Brust on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Michelob Ultra. It's only worth it if you enjoy it.
Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Ben Brust here alongside Alex Strofe, who's in for Greg Scalzo. Josh DiMaggio running the show. 800-990-3776. We also have a couple polls up on Twitter at Scalzo and Brust. But the news of the day is the guy that I just want to speak every day. Like, I think we need weekly Mark Murphy pressers moving forward.
He's a Jerry Jones style.
Yeah, he's a content factory, this guy, because
I'd be all right without that.
I know you would, because he frustrates you, and I'm looking up at ESPN right now, and what we just talked about is the headline. Packers president says half a season to tell about Jordan Love, and it's just like...
So nuts.
It just was so stupid, because I actually thought the Packers were doing a really good job building a pro-Jordan Love PR campaign, and that just puts a little damper on it. There was no need for it. And now I'm seeing the first 8 games of the season on ESPN, which is hilarious. But here's here's what he had to say about the drafting of Jordan Love and the timing of it all surrounding Aaron Rodgers.
I mentioned, well, first of all, he's trained by Ted Thompson, and obviously Ted was great at it. But, what I love about Brian, he doesn't have an ego. It's, what's going to be best for the organization. And he took a lot of heat when he drafted Jordan Love. But at least in my mind, that pick has turned out to be, we'll see what Jordan ends up being. Hopefully be a very solid and good quarterback. But selecting that gave us the flexibility to now be able to trade where we traded Aaron, and we're able to get a pretty good return for it.
Mark. That was Mark Murphy earlier today talking with the media at the Packers shareholders event. And also, I think it's worth adding on Twitter from Andy Herman. He had put out something that, really was like, wait, he said this, and I'm so sad we didn't get the audio. It's not Josh's fault. But the best time to draft a quarterback is when you don't need one. And part of me understands that concept. But I feel like Mark Murphy's getting ahead of himself. And I don't want to put words in his mouth, but it almost felt to me as if he wanted to say they already won the trade. I don't know if you guys got that vibe when he was talking. There was a point in there where he stopped himself because, wait, we don't know what Jordan Love is. We don't know if Aaron's, no longer the guy that we thought he was. But the one thing that is true is that pick did give them the flexibility to move on from Aaron Rodgers. It doesn't mean it's going to end up being the right move for the organization long term, because if Jordan Love's no good, then drafting Jordan Love and ultimately pissing off Aaron Rodgers to the point where he needed to move on, the Packers needed to move on from him. It was a divorce that was inevitable that came to a conclusion this fall. But do you agree that the best time to draft a quarterback is when you don't need one? Because it's hard for me to say yes, because it ultimately led to the demise of the relationship of Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. And if he is anything like he's been in the past 2 MVP seasons and Jordan Love is just average, then it's still going to feel like an L to me. Yes, I said L.
Yeah, yes, you said L. I guess I focus on the second half of that, right? So the Andy Herman tweet you just read, where he said the best time to draft a quarterback is when you don't need one. That's worked out pretty well for other teams, right? And obviously, I liked hearing Murphy actually, I'm going to give him a compliment here. I liked hearing him back up Gutekunst there, because Goody did take a ton of heat for that. But what situation are we in right now if Jordan Love is never drafted? Did they draft one in 21? Maybe, right? I don't know that Jordan Love was everything that was the demise of Aaron Rodgers and his relationship with Brian Gutekunst and company, but it certainly had something to do with it. But I did like hearing Mark Murphy back him up there. Now, when you look at other teams, the Patriots have drafted a ton of quarterbacks. It did draft a bunch of quarterbacks during the Tom Brady era. Some of them worked out, some of them didn't. Matt Castle was drafted, and then he needed to play a full season. So sometimes it's worked for other teams, sometimes it hasn't. Quarterbacks are really hard to figure out. Unless they're like the number 1 overall pick, and even sometimes that's a miss, it's hard to evaluate quarterbacks in the first round and how good they can be at the NFL level. So I like the swing. I still like the swing. Now he's the starting quarterback. We'll see what he is. I would have probably rather them gone for a wide receiver or something that would have helped elevate them from an NFC Championship team to a Super Bowl team back in 2020. Regardless, he's the guy now. We'll see what he is. And I'm with Mark Murphy. We just don't know, but I'm not going to put a deadline on when we will know whether or not he's good. I'm just going to assume Mark Murphy meant what Joshy said, and that is everybody will see what we already know.
800-990-3776, and this kind of gets to the The point of one of our Twitter polls is, if Jordan Love is Daniel Jones next season, do you want the Packers to re-sign him long term? Because, again, Daniel Jones was, I believe, was he heading into his 5th-year option or was his 5th year?
I can't remember. Did he get franchise tagged?
No. Yeah, I mean, regardless, it's a very similar situation, which they're heading into that 4th, 5th year, and they have to make a decision if they want this guy long term. And again, 54% of the people say yes, which to me is fascinating because to me, if I'm the Packers and Jordan Love is just like a Daniel Jones type guy, is like that's not good enough, right? Like that's just going to keep you in a place where you gave up Aaron Rodgers, you got a bunch of capital, but what does that mean for you and your franchise for the next 5 years? You're going to be average to good. Not great, not good enough to win a Super Bowl, but average to good in the regular season and maybe a first-round exit here and there or maybe one playoff win like he was able to do last year. But nobody's saying like the Giants, because they signed Daniel Jones, is now going to be a perennial powerhouse of the NFC. And that's what the Packers have been for the last 30 years. Even through the ups and downs, you went in every season knowing that you were going to win the division or be in the wild card hunt. And if it was an injury, that was going to be really the reason that it derailed your season. So that's why, as we go back to, there's no better time. Go ahead, Joshy.
Sorry, to clean up the Daniel Jones thing, they declined his 5th-year option 2 years ago. Last year, he performed well to a point that made them sign him now to a long-term contract.
And although, the Packers did decline Jordan Love's option, but they provided him with a little bit more safety blanket than Daniel Jones. But ultimately, he's playing for his future, right? If Jordan Love plays well, forget whatever contract is this year. They're going to want to lock him down if he plays well enough. And I guess the question that we're asking is, if he's Daniel Jones, which was like average to good, do you want him signed long term?
Yeah, I guess there was there was not several really bad games for Daniel Jones last year. There were certainly some flashes, which is obviously why they locked him up. And that's what concerns me, because you look at other guys in the league who have been that middle-of-the-pack type quarterback, right? Ryan Tannehill, Kirk Cousins type guys, where I don't think you feel comfortable moving on because the grass is not always greener. We've seen a ton of teams, including a bunch of teams in the NFC North, go through that quarterback hell, that quarterback purgatory, specifically Chicago, right? Ever since Jay Cutler, they just haven't been able to figure it out.
I mean, I love the examples you already threw out. Like, do you want to be the Titans? Right? Do you want to be the Vikings? I think all Packer fans would say absolutely not. And that's what if Jordan Love is Daniel Jones, that's likely what you're going to be unless you got a top 5 defense or something, which they haven't proven to be able to build a roster and have a coordinator to do that. So I'm fascinated that this many people on Twitter at Scalzo and Brust are saying they would sign Jordan Love to a long-term deal if he was Daniel Jones in terms of how he played last season.
I struggle with taking so many bites at the apple. So I think my vote would be yes on this poll. Because when you know what you have, and even if that's not top 5, top 8 type quarterback, at least you know he doesn't stink.
You would be in hell.
And that's what I struggle with.
All you know your entire life is winning. You would be in hell.
I would be. However, I'm going to sound completely insane now when I say mediocre quarterbacks have won the Super Bowl. Right? You look at Nick Foles. You look at Joe Flacco. You look at guys in the last 10, 15 years that have been meh and have won the Super Bowl. Eli Manning did it twice, and he was never considered a top 5, top 8 quarterback in the league. I wouldn't say he's Kirk Cousins level, but he was never that much better than Kirk Cousins. And I'm not looking statistically. I'm just looking overall, right? So I would hate to be a team.
The Rams got the most recent example of an average quarterback. The Rams got rid of Jared Goff to move on to Matthew Stafford to win a Super Bowl. Jared Goff was an average quarterback. The Rams had a great roster, great defense, and they still traded him. So that mediocre quarterback thing is dying fast because Mahomes hurts.
This is
there's only so many.
This is a margin of error type conversation here. When you have one of those mediocre quarterbacks, the Kirk Cousins, the Ryan Tannehills, the Daniel Jones, you have to nail your drafts, nail your free agency, and all the pieces come together at the right time.
Got to be perfect.
When you have Patrick Mahomes, when you have Aaron Rodgers, when you have Jalen Hurts, when you have Joe Burrow, you're consistently competing at the highest forms, and you have a better chance than you ever would with any of those quarterbacks because Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers cover up for a lot of ugly marks on your team.
Yeah. I can't believe.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Who are you? What happened over the weekend? That was a compliment to Aaron Rodgers.
Well, yeah.
I mean, and I was going to expand on that because that's completely true, right? Because I think the funniest thing that I always hear is when Packer fans complain about the drafting, it's showing what Aaron Rodgers was able to do with the defense that they invested in that never panned out to be a top 10 or better defense during the 2 years that they had a shot in 2020 and 2021. So that's what Josh is right. Like it covers up for the margin of error. You have a mediocre quarterback. Now you're relying on Goody and the Packers front office, who has not evolved their strategy of team building at all over the last 30 years to build a team around a mediocre quarterback to win a Super Bowl. I would have my doubts on that, but I don't have doubts on how great of experience I'm going to have at Road America. That's this Saturday, the NASCAR Xfinity race. I will be there. I cannot wait. 4-mile road course. You can camp on site. Like, it's just amazing to spend an entire weekend because there's something to do for everybody. The family fun zone, that's over in Turn 1. They have a beach area now. They have go-karting for families. You can do this all at the racetrack because you can come for that experience and then stay for the race, where Turn 5 is amazing. That's when I fell in love with Road America. When I was a freshman in college, I went over there in 2011, watched the Xfinity race, and I was like, whoa, lots of action at this track. Tons of places to view it from. Camp on site. Kids are free 16 and under with the paying adult. They literally provide you the most affordable place to go enjoy entertainment. RoadAmerica.com to get your tickets. Come for the experience. Stay for the race. 1 or 0 next on Scalzo and Brust, presented by Mick Ultra.
You're listening to Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra.
Do you know where your pee comes from?
The digestive system? What are you talking about? It starts in my mouth, goes down the esophagus. Keep going. To the stomach, to the small intestine, to the large intestine, small or large? No, that would go out the anus.
Scalzo and Brust. Available anywhere you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Good news and bad news. Good news is overall the highway system is looking better. 94, the delays have pretty much eased up except for 94 westbound from downtown to the zoo, which will still see you an extra couple minutes delay. The bad news is what's been slow all afternoon is getting worse. 41 southbound from Highway Q to the zoo right now is a 26-minute ride. That's a 10-minute delay. That might be due to a crash on 4145 southbound at Silver Spring Drive. That's been off on the left shoulder, but is looking like it's causing some of those brake lights there. At 43 southbound, currently up to a 46-minute ride right now between Brown Deer Road to downtown. That is a 35-minute delay. 43 northbound, slow as well. Downtown to Brown Deer Road, currently a 16-minute ride. That's about a 5-minute delay. Take a look at your forecast for tonight. Partly cloudy, slight chance of showers, a low of 71. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, very warm and more humid. Slight chance of showers, a high of 88. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Wyatt Barmore-Pooley on 94.5 ESPN.
Kevin Red here from Mentality Men's Health. We hear stories every day in our clinics that what used to work for guys doesn't anymore. Increased cardio, cut out certain food, nothing stops the changes in their bodies, especially the weight. The fact is, years of decreasing testosterone has packed on the belly fat that won't go away. We've introduced a medication, semaglutide, that helps drop 15% of the body weight on average while preserving testosterone. Join the over 20,000 Mentality clients and jumpstart your results. In Milwaukee, go to lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com.
Hey, it's Jason Wilde for Associated Bank. Show your Brewers pride everywhere you go with Brewers Checking, only from Associated Bank. Score exclusive perks like a one-of-a-kind Brewers Debit MasterCard, 10% off at the team store, even express check-in at the Associated Bank gate. And if you want a VIP game day, the Associated Bank Power Alley is for everyone. Contact the Brewers ticket office to learn how you could treat your crew to a full buffet and private bar overlooking left center field. Brewers Checking. Learn more at associatedbank.com/Brewers today. Member FDIC.
Come celebrate Milwaukee's original house party along our beautiful lakefront. Germanfest, July 28th, 29th, and 30th, featuring authentic German food, beer, and back this year, Steel Timber Sports in an international extreme sports competition with axes, saws, and more, all 3 days. Don't miss the Glockenspiel, Dachshund Derby, Culture Village, Mardi Gras Show, Drachenschau, and the Scherzenjäger Friday and Saturday night, and so much more. For more on Germanfest tickets and admission discounts, visit Germanfest.com.
We know that the people of Wisconsin are hard workers, that they're tough. But even the toughest among us need help after a serious accident. If you've been injured, call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
Show podcasts, team-centric feeds, and listening live whenever, wherever. All of that in the palm of your hand. The Wisconsin On Demand app, available in the Apple or Android App Store.
Are you a veteran who needs assistance? Do you know a veteran who needs help? The Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs is here for Wisconsin veterans, their families, and their survivors. We can help connect veterans with services such as medical care, financial and legal assistance, housing, mental health services, substance use treatment, and more. For more information, please visit wisvets.com. That's WIS vets.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs, with funding provided by the Milwaukee Brewers and the Brewers Community Foundation.
The biggest pro football contests in Vegas are back and bigger than ever, with $14 million in guaranteed prizes, only at Circus Sports. Enter in Nevada, play from anywhere. 2 ways to win and no rake. Play Circa Million, where you make 5 picks against the spread each week with 100% payback. Or join Circus Survivor, where you select one team each week straight up. Last the longest to win it all. $14 million in guaranteed prizes. Visit circusports.com for details.
You're listening to Scalzo and Brust on 94.5 ESPN. Missed any of the show? Find us on Wisconsin On Demand wherever you get your podcasts. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
And by the time she wakes, I'll be halfway to my mama's home. It just dawned on me, life is as fleeting as a passing dawn.
Water Joe is water with a work ethic. 10 for $10 going on right now all month long at Festival Foods. So make sure you go get the 10-pack for $10. I mean, that's amazing when you think about getting Water Joe, because it's water with caffeine. No off taste, clean and healthy energy, 85 milligrams of caffeine, and that's what I needed today. I'm not going to lie. All I needed today was hydration and energy. Hydration and energy after 3 days of a nice long bender. I was like, all right, at least when I go to work, I got Water Joe to keep me going, because I know I'm going to play basketball tonight, so I got to be hydrated. There's no better thing than Water Joe. Pick it up at any of your favorite retailers, but especially the 10 for $10 going all month long at Festival Foods. Joshy, let's play some 1 or 0.
Are you a 1 or a 0? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Are you a yes or a no?
There's no such thing as a gray area. Life is binary. It's just a 1 or a 0. 1 or 0 is presented by Circa Sports. Play the Circa Million and Circa Survivor with $14 million in guaranteed prizes. Only at Circa Sports. Enter in Vegas. Play from anywhere. Visit circasports.com for details.
Scalzi and I had a great time at the Circa Sportsbook back in Vegas. Woof. Woo-wee. He's Alex Strofe. I'm Ben Brust. We're your contestants for 1 or 0. Joshy DiMaggio is your host. He's going to give us a statement. We're going to say 1 for yes, 0 for no. There is no gray area. Joshy, all you.
Today, I received a butt dial from Homer where I could very loudly and clearly hear the conversation happening in the background of the call while I was repeatedly saying hello. 1 or 0. Homer is a butt dial guy.
1. Absolutely 1. I think I've been butt dialed by Homer before, too.
This isn't the first time Homer's butt dialed me.
I feel like he probably is a guy that doesn't have a password on his phone. You know what I mean? Because he's just like, why do I need a password?
Yeah.
I don't know. So it probably unlocks with, like, on his butt, literally. And then his butt clicks the most recent call. Yeah, he's like the ultimate butt dial guy. I think all dads are, though.
Yeah, refresh my memory, Benny. Didn't you give him his first ever iPhone?
I did.
A lemon,
and
too.
it was cracked. But he said he was going to take it to his guy. I forget what happened there. I was trying to do a good deed, and it didn't end up being a good deed.
Okay, interesting. Well, obviously, Josh, you just answered our question. You said he's butt dialed you multiple times, which immediately means yes, you're a butt dial guy then.
1 or 0. It's okay to listen to the conversation happening during a butt dial.
1, but only for a certain point. What's
the limit?
When you know it's something you shouldn't be listening to.
So
right?
This conversation that I was hearing was totally fine. He was talking about how much he liked the sports page for the newspaper. That was for wherever he is. And
he was at Ted's and Toast.
Yeah, it was entirely like a harmless conversation.
That's amazing.
But I did feel weird because a lot of times when you hear a butt dial, it's very muffled. You can make out a few words.
Hey, why was it so clear?
I think because he had it on a table and it wasn't actually in his pocket, and he must have just hit it on accident. Because I could hear multiple people in the room and their entire conversation.
He's out of town right now.
Yeah, he's in Vermont.
Yeah.
Why is he talking about the sports page in Vermont?
He read it there and he liked it, I guess.
He must have liked the layout of it, Benny. Come on, you ever opened the sports page?
Yeah,
Josh, my question
I have.
for you
but
is,
I can't imagine what they have on the sports page in Vermont.
A lot of Catamounts coverage. Joshy, how often do you talk to Homer on the phone?
Not often. We text every week to confirm his appearance on Scalzo and Brust on Fridays.
Yep.
Then today they were having some connection things because he's out of town, so is Tony. So I was here 9 to noon when both of them were attempting it. So that was what ended up happening.
So my follow-up on that is then, what is the thought that pops into your head when Homer calls you? Are you thinking, oh, he's just got a question? Or are you like, this is weird?
He needs something. He needs some help.
I thought it was butt dial. The first time, which he actually then
immediately
talked to me. The second time, I was like, well, maybe he's calling me back about it, and I changed my mind. But that was the butt dial.
Yeah, he actually calls me.
He doesn't call me very often. All right, moving on here. A Saudi Arabian soccer club is preparing to make a $1.1 billion offer to sign French soccer superstar Kylian Mbappe. The transfer amount would be $332 million with a $776 million salary to Mbappe to just play for one single season. 1 or 0.
Wow.
No one has morals or principles when you can get $776 million for a year's work.
1. Giannis Antetokounmpo proved it today. He tweeted out, he goes, I look like Mbappe. Can you pay me this much money? And Giannis is known to just be perfect and amazing and everything, but falling for a little sports washing here. But again, I don't care. Because I would too.
Noxious.
I would too.
Is anybody worth that much money? I mean, it's a 1. It's a 1.
You're worth what people will pay you, especially athletes, so that's
fair.
Because when Victor Wemby went, they basically said, you just got $1 billion to your franchise with the luck of, well, it's not ping pong balls, it's a cards now. We
lottery,
get it. Yeah, it's a lottery system. So, I mean, he's worth it. They were trying to do the same for Messi, and then they got outbid because of the offers. So the offers need to be this big for them to do what they need to do.
Would you become a porn star for $100 million?
I would live in hell.
Yes.
For a year straight if it meant $776 million. Send me there. I'll be there for a year.
Would you cut off a leg?
It's a great take.
Legitimately.
Yes.
How about an arm?
I'm going to get the best prosthetic in the world.
Yeah.
I'm getting the best prosthetic in the world. Yes.
What are you guys, Darth Vader? You gonna have? What if I said both arms and both legs?
And I'll be freak strength. I'll be a bionic man. $776 million
can buy you anything?
Yeah.
I'll be a bionic man.
You never have a stress. Besides, when am I taking my private jet to my other island?
Yeah,
I'm trying to figure out what Joshy wouldn't do.
I would do literally anything. I'm with Joshy.
I don't want to go down this line because there's some bad questions I don't want to answer.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I started thinking of the questions. I was like, shoot, I don't think I should say these.
Criminal stuff is out. I won't be doing that. Over the weekend, Jets
I'd kill somebody.
Didn't want us to say that. Over the weekend, Jets corner Sauce Gardner gifted Aaron Rodgers a diamond-encrusted 8 pendant that he placed on Rodgers' neck in a video. 1 or 0. Aaron Rodgers is a diamond chain guy.
0. But like
0.
I love this. I loved it. Like,
I thought Sauce, you don't know your man.
He doesn't know his man. That's why I love it. He's just like, because you know why I love it? Aaron's gonna like, you know when he does like the plain outfits,
that's great.
He's gonna like try and dress to the diamond. And it's gonna be so weird.
I bet we only see it once. You know the plain photo of the Packers. We see it one time, so he shows respect for Sauce, the thank you, and then we never see it again.
Sauce is on a rookie deal. Don't you think he should wait?
I don't think Sauce paid for it.
Fair enough.
I think his guy hooked him up.
Yeah, a deal with the jeweler to talk about him, therefore.
Yeah, a little.
He tweeted the guy's name out. Yeah. So this is obviously a 0. However, I'm envisioning kind of you guys remember they called Kirk Cousins Kirko chains last year?
Yes.
On the plane. He would celebrate with all those chains on. I think this is going to be Aaron Rodgers' victory chain in 2023. This only gets broken out after.
He's a crystal guy.
He can't follow Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, too.
If you don't think Aaron Rodgers thinks Kirk Cousins is the lamest guy ever, you don't know Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers might like the quarterback, but he thinks... Like, I'm sure he thinks the same way.
I bet he actually thinks Kirk Cousins is a pretty good quarterback.
Yeah,
because I actually think Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. Not a great quarterback.
Yes.
But he's a dork.
But Aaron Rodgers is the consummate cool guy, or thinks of himself as that. So guys like Kirk Cousins and Russell Wilson, they're not...
It's like, look at this phony, trying to fit in. Cool. Like, I make my own life.
Do either of you wear a chain?
No.
Okay. I was just making sure.
No. That's all I got for 1 or 0, except for maybe one more. A good teammate would buy Aaron Rodgers a crystal necklace.
0.
I don't get it. Like, why is this a 0? Like,
yeah. Well, here's the thing, and this is probably not the right audience because you two meaning. The crystals you get have like special meanings and they're about auras and chakras and things like that. And getting somebody something can be risky because all the crystals do different things. So if you get Aaron Rodgers something he doesn't vibe with, you could be messing him up.
You've already confused me.
Why do you know this?
I'm glad this is it for 1 or 0. That was a hard question. This is why.
But why does he know this?
His girlfriend's into crystals.
With general curiosity, Strofe, you learn things, you find stuff out, you read about them, you know.
But I have general curiosity. I'm not the one on this panel that doesn't have general
sports curiosity.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know why you know about chakras and diamonds and crystals and all that so much.
Because you come across it. When you see people selling crystals, you're like, what is this supposed to do? What does it mean?
No, I say research. I just walk by it and say,
I just keep walking typically.
Yeah, see
do you own any crystals?
Do I?
1 or 0, you own crystals?
0.
Okay.
I will never.
But your girlfriend believes
I don't believe you.
I don't know if she believes in them fully. She might have some, but I'm not buying any of them.
But what does she believe? She's got something like some auras and stuff? Or
the moon water stuff.
The moon water! That's what it is. The moon water.
Full moons, they mean a lot.
Speaking of moon, I don't say anything, Strofe. I want to hear Alex Strofe say the word moon on the other side. So how did this come together? We did not plan this, but in the show pre-show meeting, Alex Strofe doesn't know how to speak. And we hear him speak next on Scalzo and Brust.
You're listening to Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra.
At Scalzo and Brust, check out the Long Island Laser, courtesy of our intern who put that together. I'm not sure he's the best graphic designer.
Yeah, it's not exactly Mozart. Why are you shocked?
Because he makes music.
Scalzo and Brust, available anywhere you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
The Big Slide, barns and barns of animals, and all that food on a stick. State Fair is one of the biggest events of the summer, and we'd like to send you there. Compliments of Discount Liquor. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. Purchase any 1-case 30-pack cans of Miller High Life or any 1 12-pack Vizzy Hard Seltzer and receive 1 free State Fair ticket, all while supplies last. But don't delay. Tickets go quickly. And I know you don't want to miss the bacon-wrapped bacon. Visit us today at 51st in Oklahoma and Milwaukee, and on Barstow and Main in downtown Waukesha. Discount Liquor, voted best liquor store in Milwaukee. again. See us this week for your free Wisconsin State Fair ticket.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings. Discount Liquor.
And visit us online at discountliquorinc.com.
Over the past year, we've been hard at work improving our sales processes, expanding and remodeling our facilities, investing in new technology, and continuing our commitment to serve our customers, employees, and community. That's why at Boucher, when our customers leave the dealership, we hope we've made a customer for life. Whether you're in need of a new vehicle, are stopping in for routine maintenance, or are in need of collision work, we will be here to help. With 20 locations throughout southeastern Wisconsin and 30 brands, we've got thousands of new and used vehicles for you to choose from. Our dedicated employees have been named a 2022 top workplace for the past 11 years, and we always have been and will continue to be family-owned and operated. Proud to be your Wisconsin family dealership group since 1977. Visit us today at Boucher.com.
It's a city from a fairy tale on the Mediterranean Sea.
Netanya, the city of diamonds. And in this city of diamonds lived a crazy genius named Moses Hadara.
Moses was a mathematician.
A diamond cutter. And a bit of a theoretical physicist.
Albert Einstein devised a formula, E = mc squared.
Albert's formula unleashed the power locked inside an atom. Moses' formula unleashed the power locked inside a diamond.
Moses began with star facets,
Kite facets, upper girdle facets,
lower girdle facets,
and pavilion facets. But then a voice told him to add 24 new facets, the Moses facets.
When he cut the final one,
Shazam! Moses unleashed an explosion of light.
That dazzling diamond is known today as the Kessler 81.
See it for yourself.
See it for yourself.
See it for yourself. At Kessler's.
To find the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Don't give in to that constant joint pain. Take control. Take back your quality of life today with help from QC Kinetics. Hey, it's Tony Smith. QC Kinetics is helping people every day here in Milwaukee and across the country with their amazing non-surgical treatments that repair and restore damaged joint tissue. They use the latest advances in regenerative medicine, taking your own body's healing agents and concentrating them right in the area where you have the agonizing pain. This incredible non-invasive approach helps you take back control of your body, relieving pain in the knees, hips, shoulders, or back. No invasive surgery, no harmful drugs or steroids, and no downtime. Listen, summertime needs to be about having fun, making memories, golfing, hiking, enjoying the outdoors. Take control now and start living pain-free again. Call now for your free consultation with QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474.
It's Scalzo and Brust on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Michelob Ultra. It's only worth it if you enjoy it.
On Twitter, at Scalzo and Brust. Started the show in a weird way because I was gone Thursday and Friday, and somebody told me that food was the carrier to sauce. And we asked, is there any food that is better without sauce? 51% of people say yes. 49% of people say no. A ton of different replies. But the one that continues to come up is steak. And I still can't get behind that one. I love a good steak, but I tell you what, when I cook a steak with butter and some garlic cooked in, it's just a little bit better than the steak that you just put on and don't do anything to.
Does garlic come as a sauce?
I know it's just no, but it's a flavoring. Again, it goes to the additives thing. It's not just by itself. You know what I mean? You're enhancing the product. You're not just going to take a steak. Mm-hmm. You can't tell me steak by itself is better than some sort of topping.
No, I don't agree. I
agree.
I don't. Yeah,
I've gotten like 40 of these
seasoning
steak
is
comments.
the spice of life. No, there's a reason they do it. There's a reason everything has salt and pepper in some form usually on it. Like the real question here is what food is better plain? And if you can find an answer other than fruit, I think that's kind of
we reverse it tomorrow. What's the best food plain? No,
it's the same question.
I want to throw everyone for a loop. Everyone keeps yelling at me butter is in a sauce. I know, but it's an additive. Is 8 weeks enough for the Packers to determine if Jordan Love is the quarterback of the future? 50-50. 50-50.
Wow.
Again, the poll to me today about this is not even about if it's enough. It's about the timing of Mark Murphy opening up his mouth and even like putting that out there. Mark Murphy was the one at the shareholders meeting today at Lambeau Field who said they'll know in 8 weeks if Jordan Love is the quarterback of the future. And there was just no reason to say that at all. None. There was zero. Zero reason to.
Nope.
Great building up of confidence by all of his teammates and everyone involved. And he puts a timeline out there that I just think did not help anything. And again, it's just like, I feel like, Strofe, you and I, we may not be the brightest at all times, but we could take him through a PR course that would make him infinitely better at his job.
This sounds like a brilliant idea. Hold on. We buried the lead for 2 whole hours. Benny, does Josh and the rest of the world know you're averaging 47 points a game in your Tuesday night men's league, Monday night men's league?
I've done a great job of not talking about my men's league because it literally just makes them yell at me.
47.5 points a game. That's absurd, Josh.
Playing against 40-year-olds.
See, it's not 40-year-olds. See, this is what happens, Strofe. They just make fun of me.
I mean, 47's absurd. If it was like 21
on the tee,
points a
coming
game, I
up
wouldn't
next
be
in ESPN Milwaukee. See, I can't even do it because they're just mean to me. On the tee up next in ESPN Milwaukee, Joe and Amber cross Madison and Beaver Dam. Thanks,
Those major delays on 43 southbound caused by a